Hi, I am Lam Wei Lin Zoey and my project is on heat waves. According to the WHO, heat waves are among the most dangerous of natural hazards, but rarely receive adequate attention because their death tolls and destruction are not always immediately obvious. Therefore, the objective of my project is to analyze the danger that heat waves pose and identify the regions that are most vulnerable to it. I will use the data on extreme temperature events, a general term for temperature variations above or below normal conditions. There are two types of extreme temperature events. The first type is cold waves, which refer to a period of abnormally cold weather. Cold waves typically last for 2 or more days and may be aggravated by high winds. The other type is heat waves, which refer to a period of abnormally hot or unusually humid weather. They also typically last for 2 or more days. First, let us see how the distribution of extreme temperature events has changed. From this graph, we can see that the general frequency of heat waves has been increasing, although general frequency of extreme temperature events has no obvious change. From the composition of extreme temperature events, we can also see that a greater proportion of extreme temperature events in recent years have been heat waves. To assess the impact of rising heat wave frequencies on human life, we can examine the changes in the median number of deaths from extreme temperature events. The graph shows a recent upward trend in deaths, correlating with the increased heat wave occurrences, indicating that the heat waves are increasingly affecting human health. So why are heat waves more dangerous than cold waves? At first glance, the fatality rates suggest otherwise. Cold waves have a higher fatality of approximately 0.83 compared to 0.44 for heat waves. This implies that about 8 out of 10 people may die during a cold wave, while only 4 out of 10 may die during a heat wave. However, heat waves impact a larger population, affecting an average of 131 individuals compared to just 24 for cold waves. At these values, an average heat wave event will kill almost 3 times the number of people as an average cold wave event. In conclusion, the increasing frequency of heat waves, their fatality of 0.44, and the large populations they affect highlight their growing threat. So who are the most vulnerable to the increase in heat waves? To answer that, we can take a look at this graph on the total number of deaths inflicted by heat waves across the continent. Looking at the data, Europe is in a clear lead at 255,000 deaths from heat waves in the 20th century, a much higher value than the second highest, Asia, at 10,000 deaths. This could be because Europe has a much higher frequency of heat waves at 127, which is more than double that of the second highest, Asia, at 54. Looking at it from another perspective, we can see that Europe alone suffers from over 62% of the world's heat waves, which could explain why it has so many more fatalities compared to the rest of the world. To identify the most vulnerable sub-region in Europe, we can examine heat wave frequency and temperature changes over time. Here, we can see that in most parts of Europe, frequency of heat waves has increased. Meanwhile, the median heat wave temperature has decreased in East Europe and increased in Western Europe. Southern Europe experiences little change but has particularly high temperatures, while Northern Europe has notably low temperatures. From the graphs of total deaths over a period, we can then see that in recent times, Eastern and Northern Europe have lower death tolls. This is because of the lower temperatures experienced as well as the lower frequencies of heat waves. On the other hand, we can see that Southern Europe and Western Europe have high death tolls. This is because firstly, they both have the 2 highest frequencies of heat waves. Furthermore, their heat waves are hotter on average, particularly for Southern Europe. This makes countries in Southern and Western Europe more vulnerable to heat waves. Looking closer into Europe, the 8 countries with the highest death toll from heat waves thus far are Belgium, France, Spain, Portugal, Greece, Romania, Italy, and Germany. To figure out why, I use 3 main risk factors: population density, proportion of elderly individuals, and location. Out of the 8 countries, 6 of them have a population density above the median of 87.45 people per square mile. This means that a single heatwave event has a higher likelihood of impacting more people, which can potentially lead to a higher death toll. Furthermore, 5 out of the 8 countries have a higher aging population proportion than the median of 20.3%. This demographic factor may contribute to the higher death tolls, as older adults are more vulnerable to heat. They do not cool down as efficiently, and extreme heat can even worsen their existing health conditions. Another area to take note of is the location of the country. All of the countries with higher death tolls are located in Western and Southern Europe, except for Romania. In summary, 3 of the top 4 countries with the highest heatwave deaths exhibited all identified risk factors. Additionally, all 8 countries with relatively high deaths possesses at least one risk factor, with most having 2. Overall, countries in Southern and Western Europe with high aging population and high population density are the most vulnerable to heat waves. To mitigate these risks, these countries can help to spread awareness of what to do in heat waves as well as improve early warning systems.